Before the neon reign of Blade Runner, before the oppressive screens of 1984, before the gleaming towers of any futuristic city we know, there was a silent film from 1927, and it laid the blueprint for everything that would follow. Its name is Metropolis, directed by the visionary Fritz Lang. It was the most expensive film ever made at the time, a staggering cinematic gamble that nearly bankrupted its studio. But what it created was more than just a movie. It was a prophecy, a stunningly detailed and disturbingly accurate vision of a future of towering skyscrapers, class warfare, artificial intelligence, and dehumanizing technology. It is the ancestor of all modern science fiction. The DNA of Metropolis can be found in everything from Star Wars to cyberpunk. But the most unsettling part is not how it influenced fiction, but how it seems to have predicted our reality. So today, as this masterpiece approaches its 100th anniversary, we will explore its faded frames and decode the visions of the first sci-fi epic. And we will ask the most important question: did Fritz Lang's 1927 nightmare accidentally become our modern world? The first and most enduring legacy of Metropolis is its vision of the city, decades before anyone else. Fritz Lang created the blueprint for the futuristic vertical metropolis. The city is not just a setting, it is a living organism built on a foundation of brutal inequality. At the top, bathed in sunlight, is the world of the thinkers and the elite. The Club of the Suns. It is a paradise of gleaming Art Deco towers, pleasure gardens, and futuristic skyways filled with aeroplanes. It is a utopia of leisure, built on the suffering of the masses below. Deep beneath the surface lies the workers' city. This is the engine of Metropolis, a dark, oppressive, subterranean world. Here, the architecture is not beautiful but brutal and gothic. Legions of identical workers, dressed in drab uniforms, march in perfect soul-crushing synchronicity to their 10-hour shifts at the colossal heart machine. This stark visual divide between the idyllic paradise above and the industrial hell below became one of the most powerful and enduring tropes in all of science fiction. It's a visual representation of class struggle, a warning about a society where the thinkers are completely disconnected from the doers, and where progress for the few is built on the dehumanization of the many. At the heart of the workers' city and the second pillar of Metropolis's vision is the machine. In this future, technology is not a helpful servant, it is a demanding, all-consuming god. The central power station of the city is the colossal heart machine, and the workers are its slaves. In one of the most famous scenes in cinema history, the protagonist Freder has a horrifying vision. As the overworked machine overheats and explodes, he doesn't see a technical failure. He sees the machine transform into Moloch, an ancient demonic deity to whom children were sacrificed. The workers are not just operators, they are human sacrifices, fed into the fiery maw of the machine to keep the paradise above running. This powerful, terrifying metaphor frames industrial technology not as a tool for liberation, but as a new, more brutal form of enslavement. It is a critique of a society that values its machines more than the human lives that operate them. Lang's vision was a stark warning against unchecked industrialization, a fear that in our quest to build gods of metal and steam, we would turn ourselves into nothing more than fuel for their furnaces. This timeless warning about the dehumanizing potential of technology is a core theme of science fiction. If you enjoy these deep dives into the foundational ideas of the genre, consider subscribing to The Future Past. Your support is the heart of our machine. Now let's look at the film's most iconic creation, the first great robot of the cinema. From the furnaces of the heart machine comes the third and most influential pillar of Metropolis, the first great robot in cinema history, the Maschinenmensch, or the machine human. Her design is a timeless masterpiece of Art Deco futurism, a gleaming, beautiful, and utterly inhuman android. She is created by the mad inventor Rotwang, who, in a scene that would be copied for a century, transfers the likeness of the saintly human heroine Maria onto his mechanical creation. This act creates a perfect doppelganger, a robot indistinguishable from a human, designed to manipulate the masses. And here, the film presents a profound duality. The robot is initially seen as a potential savior, a perfect being. But when her likeness is stolen, she becomes an agent of chaos. The false Maria uses her charisma to incite the workers to a violent, self-destructive rebellion, destroying the very machines they depend on, and nearly drowning their own children. The robot Maria is the ultimate symbol of technology's double-edged sword. She represents the utopian dream of creating a perfect being, but also the dystopian nightmare of that creation being used for deception and destruction. She is the ancestor of every cinematic android, from C-3PO to the Terminator, a beautiful, terrifying warning about creating life in our own image. So, after all the spectacle, the class warfare, and the robotic chaos, what is Metropolis actually trying to say? The fourth and final pillar is the film's surprisingly hopeful message. It is a plea for empathy in an age of industrial alienation. This message is personified by our three main characters. The cold, calculating ruler of Metropolis, Jaw Fredersen, represents the head, the thinkers, the planners. The oppressed, anonymous workers represent the hands, the doers, the labor. And Jaw's idealistic son, Freder, who falls in love with the workers' leader Maria, and is horrified by their suffering, represents the heart. The film argues that a society where the head and the hands are disconnected, where the thinkers have no empathy for the workers, is a society doomed to destroy itself. The workers' violent rebellion, incited by the false Maria, nearly leads to mutual annihilation. The famous final line of the film provides the solution. The mediator between the head and the hands must be the heart. It is a call for a new social contract, one based not on exploitation, but on empathy, understanding, and collaboration between the classes. It is a deeply romantic, and for its time, a radical idea that a better future could be built not just on grand plans, but on simple human connection. Almost a century later, the influence of Metropolis is everywhere. Its vision of the vertical city became the default look for our futuristic worlds. Its iconic robot, Maria, became the ancestor of C-3PO, the Terminator, and countless other androids. Its stark division between a shining utopia and a dark underbelly is a theme we see repeated again and again. The film may be silent, but its questions are louder than ever. In our own world of vast income inequality, debates about artificial intelligence, and the feeling that we are sometimes just cogs in a giant machine, the nightmare of Metropolis feels chillingly familiar. Here at the Future Past, we believe that exploring these very first dreams of the future is essential. They are the foundational blueprints, the source code from which so many of our modern stories are written. If you were captivated by this deep dive into the silent film that invented the future, subscribe to our channel and join us as we continue to unearth the incredible futures that never were.